Before you throw away that old plastic bracelet, brooch, or necklace sitting in a drawer, you may want to look twice, because some vintage plastic jewelry that once looked cheap, playful, or even childish is now worth hundreds, and in rare cases, even thousands of dollars. Today, we are counting down 30 vintage plastic jewelry pieces collectors still search for, from colorful Bakelite bangles to rare Lucite brooches, quirky animal pins, designer pieces, and forgotten treasures that may be hiding in family jewelry boxes. And make sure you stay until number 1, because the final piece is the kind of plastic jewelry that can shock people when they realize it is not junk at all. At number 30, we have simple Bakelite spacer bangles. These thin, plain bracelets may not look dramatic at first, but collectors love stacking them. A single simple bangle may only bring a modest price, but a group of matching or unusual colors can quickly become more desirable. Butterscotch, cherry red, spinach green, and marbled tones are especially popular. At number 29, look for carved Bakelite bangles. The more detailed the carving, the more serious collectors become. Deep floral cuts, geometric patterns, zigzags, and Art Deco-style carving can push a bracelet far beyond ordinary costume jewelry value. A plain plastic bracelet is one thing, but a carved Bakelite bangle has history, texture, and collector appeal. At number 28, we have wide Bakelite cuff bracelets. These are chunkier, bolder, and more dramatic than thin bangles. Wide cuffs in rare colors can be eye-catching display pieces, and collectors often pay more when the bracelet has strong color, good shine, and no cracks. At number 27, keep an eye out for Bakelite bangles with dots, stripes, or laminated layers. These two-tone and multicolored designs are more exciting than basic solid pieces. They look modern even decades later, and that is why they continue to attract vintage fashion lovers. At number 26, we have butterscotch Bakelite necklaces. Butterscotch is one of the most recognizable Bakelite colors. Beaded necklaces in this warm, yellow-orange shade can look simple, but good quality examples can be surprisingly collectible, especially when the beads are chunky, graduated, or unusually shaped. At number 25, look for cherry amber Bakelite bead necklaces. These rich red-orange pieces can glow beautifully under light. Collectors love that warm, almost candy-like look. If the necklace has large beads, a good clasp, and strong color, it can be worth far more than people expect. At number 24, we have Bakelite charm bracelets. These are fun, colorful, and sometimes very valuable. The more unusual the charms, the better. Tiny books, pencils, animals, dice, kitchen tools, telephones, and novelty shapes can turn a simple bracelet into a collector's treasure. At number 23, look for school-themed Bakelite jewelry. Little pencil charms, book charms, rulers, and schoolhouse motifs are highly charming and can be connected to famous vintage designers. These pieces have personality, which is exactly what many collectors want. At number 22, we have Martha Sleeper Bakelite pins. Martha Sleeper created whimsical pieces that are now loved by collectors. Her animal brooches, school-themed charms, and carved designs often stand out because they feel playful but still beautifully made. A signed or well-attributed piece can bring serious money. At number 21, keep an eye out for Bakelite horse brooches. Figural animal jewelry is always popular, and horse designs have a strong collector base. Painted details, carved manes, and unusual color combinations can make these pieces especially desirable. At number 20, we have Bakelite dog brooches. From Scotties to poodles and little sitting dogs, these pieces are cute, nostalgic, and collectible. Dog lovers and jewelry collectors both chase them, which can increase demand. At number 19, look for Bakelite elephant brooches. Elephant designs are bold, charming, and often easier to display than wear. Collectors like pieces with carved details, painted accents, or extra materials like leather ears or rhinestone eyes. At number 18, we have Bakelite fruit jewelry. Apples, cherries, bananas, grapes, and carved fruit pins can be worth hundreds if the design is rare or the condition is excellent. These pieces are bright, fun, and very 1930s to 1940s in feeling. At number 17, look for Bakelite dress clips. Dress clips were popular in earlier fashion eras and are now very collectible. Because many were lost, damaged, or separated from their pairs, complete and stylish examples can be valuable. At number 16, we have Bakelite belt buckles. Many people forget that vintage plastic fashion accessories were not only bracelets and brooches. Large Bakelite buckles in strong colors, carved patterns, or unusual shapes can attract collectors. At number 15, keep an eye out for carved Bakelite brooches shaped like flowers. Flower pins were extremely popular, but rare colors, layered petals, and deep carving can make them stand out. A dramatic flower brooch can look like wearable art. At number 14, we have celluloid flower brooches. Celluloid is an early plastic, often lighter than Bakelite and sometimes more delicate. Floral celluloid pieces can be beautiful, but condition matters a lot. Warping, cracks, and discoloration can lower value, while clean, intact pieces can be very collectible. At number 13, look for celluloid bangle bracelets. These are often lightweight, sometimes translucent, and can come in carved or molded styles. Because celluloid can be fragile, surviving pieces in good condition are worth noticing. At number 12, we have celluloid cameo jewelry. Some pieces mimic shell or ivory cameos, but they are actually early plastic. Fine detail, older settings, and unusual colors can make these pieces interesting to collectors. At number 11, look for galalith or cassine plastic jewelry. This milk-based early plastic was used before modern plastics took over. It can appear in Art Deco necklaces, brooches, and carved pieces. Because many people do not recognize it, it can be overlooked in old jewelry lots. At number 10, we have Lucite confetti jewelry. These pieces often contain glitter, foil, shells, or decorative bits sealed inside clear or colored plastic. Confetti Lucite bangles, earrings, and brooches are especially loved by mid-century collectors. At number 9, look for reverse-carved Lucite brooches. These are clear plastic pieces carved from the back and often painted to create a floating design effect. Flowers, birds, and tropical motifs are common, and the best examples are detailed, bright, and clean. At number 8, we have Lucite clamper bracelets. These hinged bracelets can be bold and sculptural. Clear, frosted, marbled, or embedded. Lucite designs from the mid-century era can bring strong prices when they are stylish and wearable. At number 7, look for Judith Hendler acrylic jewelry. Her clear and colored acrylic pieces from the late 20th century can look futuristic, bold, and runway ready. Large bracelets, coiled designs, and statement necklaces can sell for hundreds when collectors recognize the name. At number 6, we have Angela Caputi resin jewelry. These Italian statement pieces are known for bold scale and dramatic design. Chunky resin necklaces, oversized bangles, and sculptural earrings can bring impressive resale prices, especially if they are signed or rare. At number 5, look for Leah Stein brooches. Leah Stein's layered plastic brooches are famous among collectors. Foxes, cats, birds, ballerinas, cars, and geometric designs are popular. Some are more common, but rarer designs, older pieces, and unusual patterns can be worth far more than an ordinary plastic pin. At number 4, we have early Leah Stein animal pins. The fox may be the most recognizable, but collectors also chase panthers, dogs, cats, birds, turtles, and horses. What makes them special is the layered plastic effect, which gives each piece movement, pattern, and personality. At number 3, look for Trifari Jelly Belly brooches. These are not ordinary plastic pins. They often feature clear lucite centers set into high-quality costume jewelry designs. Animals, birds, and sea creatures are especially collectible. Some rare examples can reach into the thousands because they combine famous branding, clever design, and lucite detail. At number 2, we have Coro and Corocraft Jelly Belly pieces. Like Trifari, these can feature clear plastic centers that create that famous jelly-like look. Scarce originals can command high prices, especially if the design is rare, the stones are intact, and the piece has not been damaged or poorly repaired. And finally, at number 1, the most exciting vintage plastic jewelry to look for is rare figural Bakelite with strong design, rare color, and collector attribution. This could be a dramatic animal brooch, a carved novelty bracelet, a charm necklace, or a one-of-a-kind looking piece from a known maker. What makes these pieces so valuable is not just the material. It is the combination of age, design, condition, rarity, and story. That is why a piece someone once dismissed as just plastic can become the star of an auction, an estate sale, or a collector's display case. So, before you pass over old plastic jewelry at a thrift shop, flea market, or family drawer, take a closer look. Check the weight, color, carving, clasp, maker's mark, and condition. Do not assume plastic means worthless. In the vintage jewelry world, plastic can be playful, historic, fashionable, and surprisingly valuable. And who knows? That chunky old bracelet or strange little brooch may be worth far more than it looks. If you enjoyed this countdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more vintage fashion and collectible treasure stories, and comment below, have you ever found a piece of old jewelry that turned out to be worth money?